Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? If you can hear me, can you type in something on this? Fine. So we'll wait for another 2 minutes, because since this is the first time I'm talking to you. There are about 3 people already joined, so there are guys. We'll see how it goes. I'll start another 2 minutes time. Wait for about 2 minutes. Okay. Okay, guys. Good morning to all of you. This is the first time I'm addressing you in a class. My name is Paulraj. I work. I do lectures for various other classes in ANC Candy. For I do for undergraduate programs and masters programs. Um, I do a little bit of lectures in ANC My Avenue also. Plus, I work as the academic head in Candy. I live in Colombo. At the moment, I'm in Colombo. This particular course, right, see, management of people and organization, is one of the fundamental study areas for any particular profession, right? Now you're going to be an engineer, you're doing an engineering study, you're doing psychology study, or hospitality management, or anything, or computer science. Fundamentally, all these things happen within an organizational setup, right? So you should know how organization will work, how it is structured, and what are the nitty-gritties of that, how does it interact with the environment and things like that. You should know. So we that is the way the course is designed. Right? We are supposed to finish this by about in May, and we have scheduled all our classes like that. What I've done is all our materials and things like that are fundamentally based on a classroom session. I slightly made some modifications to all those things for online sessions. Um, so what I'll do is from one of the things how you are going to get your materials I know through Moodle, and I saw all of your names in Moodle. I think your names are in very recently would have got into the Moodle, and this particular group is created. And I would like you to go reach in Moodle and see all the reading materials and the presentations there. Now, see this particular presentation what I'm making today, it is already there in the Moodle. So when from next time, right, when you come in, please go through it and understand that. So you will have a little bit of questions and things like that. I will give you my telephone number and the email address. So any particular doubts you have time to time, you can either send me a mail or so give me a call. By chance, if I don't give a call, just text and say that you have a problem and ask me to call because I'll be in lectures or some other work. So that is how it is going to happen. Now about the assessments of this particular course, there are 4 assessments. All these assessments has to be closed most probably by about 2nd of June. Um, Now these assessments are not straight in the way questions, and you say what is management, or what is organization structure, what is internal and external stakeholders. That is not the way this whole thing is designed. The assessments are based on case studies. So what that means is you are given a case, and you have to read that particular case, and they will ask the various questions, right? Now identify the organizational structure in that. So you should know what is organizational structure, and you have to identify the organizational structure from that. And they will ask, say, how does this particular organization interact with others. Then you have to talk about it is open system theory and things like that. And this is what happens in the organization. These components are related to that. So always your answers are from the case. So for that particular thing, for us to give you a chance for you to learn how to answer these assessments, we'll do a formative assessment initially. The formative assessment is a case what we have prepared, and we'll send it to you, and we'll ask certain questions. And on that particular day, you have to answer that. Then I will have in my session, I will say what are the mistakes you are doing and how you should answer those things. Before every exam, before every assessment, will prepare you for that type of through the formative assessment. The formative assessment, you don't get any marks. It is just to make sure that you are prepared for the exam. So when we talk about this case studies and things like that, there's a way that we do case studies, and we also critically look at now you are going to be prepared. How you should be answering that, right? Okay, let's start the class now. This class is not going to be 1 hour, 2 hours. It will be maximum about 45 minutes. But that way, that you will have much better time for you to study. So today's subject is we talk about now what is this organizations. What we talk about? What do you mean by an organization? Now, in this particular area, you will learn about organization. What is an organizational environment? What are the types of organization we have? What do you mean by formal and informal organizations? What are the organization's goals, objectives, and policies and things like that? How we know that organization works. Now, organization means it's a body of individuals, or in a set of individuals. We say there are people coming together or recruited together to perform a common duty, to achieve a common goal. Now, you take in any particular organizations, it can be, say, organization like in Unilever, the biggest, one of the big, global organization, or it can be a small local organization like, say, Glitz in Canada, or you talk about a locally in a big organization like Munch. Any of these organization, even a small shop in a Peradeniya Road or in anywhere in the world, as an objective, it can be profit. Sometimes it is non-profit organization. So every organization has a certain objectives. It can be market share, it can be profits, it can be volume. Now this set of people who are coming together work towards achieving that goal. So typically organization is a body of individuals, a set of people working under a defined system of rules. Because any of those things what I mentioned as certain regulations, rules, policies, principles, they work within that to achieve their identifiable goals. Now, say no company can say that we can achieve our targets or objectives any way we want. No, it is not permitted. There are certain rules. You can spend only this much of money. You can work according to this particular time, and there is OT means this is no like that. There are quality standards you have to maintain. There are ethical standards you have to maintain. There is CSR work you have to do. All those things becomes a part of organization procedures, principles, policies, etc., etc. You have to achieve all what you are supposed to achieve only within those things. So when we talk about organization, it's a set of people working towards a common goal within a particular organization setup. Right? Now, that is what simply it says. There are a lot of if you go to internet, you can really find lots of explanation or definition given for organizations. But fundamentally, these are the finest things about organization. So any organization is a social unit. What do you mean by a social unit? People coming together for anything, two or more people, or one or more person, or two or more people, you call it a social unit. So those social units are formed, for various reasons today. Right? It can be a counselor, Dayakasab. It can be a hospital, the doctors and nurses. It can be police. Right now, the people come together. It can be few friends getting together. It can be a class. Wherever people coming together is known as a social unit. But all the social units are formed not because of there is a goal. I mean, they just friends come together to enjoy life, right? But when it comes to the social units are structured and managed to reach a goal. Then it becomes an organization. So the organizations have management structures, and they are very very clear determinations on relationship. Who is the boss? Who is the second level? Who is the third level? How they are they communicate with each other, and it is divided and subdivided into groups and teams and divisions and departments and things like that. The larger the organization, your divisions are more, the people are more, and the structures are quite deep. So that is how, but all, whatever the size is, it is a structured social unit with rules and regulations to achieve a common objective. Now, what type of environment this organization works in within? Organization doesn't work on its own. It is not in a particular situation where there's no one to. It doesn't work in a vacuum. Now, say when you are talking about organization. Now, say take ANC. ANC Candy is an organization. It is there. It works in an environment. There is a physical environment when you get out of ANC. There is a road. I mean, there is shops. There are schools. On both sides. There are the institutions. What does that mean to me? You can't do anything in what you want. You have to be concerned about the environment. Because you can't you have your own building and things like that. Because we have a lot of students come in there, a lot of lecturers come in there. Can we park our vehicles blocking the road? We can't do it because we are disturbing the environment, right? So because it is our own enterprise, because we have all the facilities within, can we have something to disturb the cultural aspirations of the people who are walking about? We can't do it. Can we do something to disturb the school next door? We can't do it. So You look at any organization, whether you are in a you have a shop in a Candy City Center, or you have a shop in New York in a city, or in your business in Colombo, Peta, wherever you are, you have an environment. You got to be very, very careful, understand this environment very well to perform. Without an organizational, without an environmental context, no organization can perform in a better. Now, this environment we break into two areas. One is an internal environment, other one is an external environment. Now, internal environment means, I'm sorry guys, and I'm having my cup of tea also. So, when you say the internal environment, it is within the organization, inside the organization. That is your structure, your staff, your managers, your executives, your flow staff, right? And the materials, the machineries, what you have, the office room, the facilities, what you have, the restrooms, and all those things comes under internal environment. One of the characteristics of this internal environment is it is manageable by the organization itself. Whom to recruit, whom to promote, who is going to be the executive, how does the office is going to be arranged, how many washrooms to have, how much, the size of the lunchroom, what kind of tables, what kind of telephone systems, all those things can be managed or decided by the organization itself. So the internal environment is not always under the organizational control. Then we talk about the external environment. The external environment is typically outside the organization. There are a lot of forces and conditions outside the organization which influence the organizational ability, the organizational actions. Like what I said, right? The example what I said, because you are in that particular road, because there are a lot of people coming to ANC, you can't go and park your cars and bikes on the road. You can't block the main road. Okay, so you can't just come and say you have the people have to have work with certain regulations. There are labor regulations laid upon by the country. You have to pay taxes. You have to pay electricity bill. You have to pay water bill. What happens if you don't pay the electricity bill? The law enforcing the electricity board will come and cut the electricity. You got to have in the system of telephones, correct? And if you don't pay for that, they will disconnect those facilities. So the government will come and say, you look the classrooms, and the university will come and say your classrooms has to be like this. You got to have so much of classroom. You got to have computers. You got to have this. You got to have a library. You got to have these books. That is what the that is how these guys talk about. Who the other institutions, the government, and all those things. There will be people, right? There will be University Grant Commission will come and inspect, or they will come and give your permissions and things like that. There will be police because there are rules and regulations we have to follow. The cleanliness, the environmental authority. So you look at there are certain things internal which you can control. There are a lot of things handled by outsiders. That is the external environment. Now, an organization, whether they like it or not, work in an internal and external environment sector. Now, the external environment is divided into two. One we call the task environment, other one is the general environment. The task environment is what is immediately surrounding your area, your physical area, or your immediate influences. This can be now in ANC can be thing your the immediate task in environment is maybe your police, the high school next to you, the shops in front of you, all these things you have to manage. You have to see what they do, and how you can behave accordingly. Your electricity, without that you can't do it. Water, without that you can't do it. Your facilities inside, right? How do you manage from outside? Those things. So these are the task environment. General environments are maybe that we pay taxes, we pay in a certain government approvals, we have to get university grant commission. All those things can be general environment, which is large. They don't influence your day-to-day activity. Task environment very much influence your day-to-day activity. So either you call it uh, task environment and general environment. Also we call that is macro environment and micro environment. Both terminologies are right. Either it is the external environment is identified as task environment and general environment, or for task environment we call it micro environment. The general environment we call it macro environment. Now, what is the nature of this organization? What kind of organizations we talk about, right? Some are, sorry about now, say, some organizations are, we identify that as a process. Process means activities, organized activities, step by step organized activities. That is a process. That is large number of events, activities done under process of organizing your to achieve a particular objective. Buying raw materials from the suppliers, activity. Coming and keeping that is in your stores is an activity. Transportation is an activity. Now calling in a PHI, the health organization to come and check that activity. Getting license is an activity. So converting these raw materials into finished goods, say your manufacturing activity. Buying machineries is an activity. Maintaining machineries is an activity. Hiring people is an activity. Training people is an activity. Selling is an activity. Marketing is an activity. So you look at organization means it is not just buying and selling or one to two, the simple process. It arranges a particular business into so many parts, and all these parts are interconnected. That is what we talk about process orientation. Organization is a process, step by step organized activity. On the other hand, we talk about organization as a structured relationship. There is a CEO, there is a general manager, there is an assistant general manager, there is a sales manager, marketing manager, there is a manufacturing manager, human resources manager. Under them, there are executives, there are flow manager, the flow people. So there are two ways you can identify organizations. One is through a process, other one is through their structure. So organization can be a structural relationship, or it is can be a process. This is the nature of organizations, right? Now there are types of organizations. Now we talk about a small shop, one owner. There's a small shop. Some of you all must be having some business. The small shop is fundamentally it's a single owner entity. You call it sole proprietorship. You call it sole proprietorship. One owner. Most of the small businesses are, saying we talk about even the kadala man on the road, or a small clothing in a shop, or in a small eating in a job, the eating in outlet is a single owner entity. So that is sole proprietorship. There are partnership. Two or three people get together and they form a company. Right? Now that we call it private enterprises, right? So private limited. or partnership. It can be a private company also. The third one is the corporation, PLCs, public corporations now. Say, taken for instance, John Keys. We call it Hamas, Haley's, Ceylon Tobaccos, Nestle's, Unilevers. All are big corporations. So we, because of they are organized, it's the legal form of an organization. We call it types of organization. The sole proprietor in a thing is the most simplest thing. One owner, he will operate and everything belongs to him and things like that. Partnership is a legal form, operation between two or more people who share the management and profits. Now, the management is done by shared management responsibilities, and the profits also like that. Okay. A large company is a group of companies authorized to act as a single entity. Actually, large corporations are, even though there are a lot of partners, public quoted companies and things like that, they are legally entitled, legally formed, legally given that authority to work as a single organization. You will learn much more deep on that, so you are supposed to learn only that, right? Now, one of the key things what you should know is what is a formal organization and what is an informal organization. The formal organization is purposefully organized structure to achieve a common goal. So that means organization is buying raw materials, manufacturing and selling it, marketing it. So there is a buying division, procurement division, we call it supply chain division. Then you are manufacturing it, so you call a manufacturing division. Then there is a marketing division or sales and marketing together. So there will be a manufacturing manager, there's a supply chain manager, there's a sales and marketing manager. They look after each and every functions. Now, each and every marketing manager or the manufacturing manager will have engineers under them. They will have flow supervisors under them. A supply manager, supply chain manager will have supply chain executives under them. Foreign procurement executive under them, a local procurement executive under them. So if you really look, it is very much structured. Understanding the objectives of the company, it is formed. So you can easily say a formal organization, more than two or more than two people with a common objective, they follow formal relationship and a communication line. I have boss, so I have to get certain approvals from them. When he wants to get certain things done is in addition, it has to go through in a way for him to done. So there is formal relationship. There is a formal communication steps, bottom to top and top to bottom. That is a formal relationship. In large organizations, we talk about global organization. There will be a chairman sitting in, say, in the European city. There's a regional general manager in India. There is a country manager in Sri Lanka. There's a country manager in Singapore. Again, a formal organization. It doesn't matter whether you're operating in one country or in multiple countries. These formal organization, the formal structures are laid upon based on to achieve common objectives. They have a relationship and they have an objective. Now, what is the informal organization then? The informal organization, all of us are part of it. Now, saying what happens, even though in Sri Lankan, I'll give you this example from a typical Sri Lankan model. When you talk about right now, there will be a group, say you have two or three divisions. There is a marketing division, there's a supply chain division, you have a finance division. But there will be some fellows in the marketing division, there will be some fellows in finance division would have studied together in the same school. So they'll come and say, right now, Machang, we are, say, Rajans, Dharmaraj. We say we are Trinitians. Or we say we are from Gampala Zaira. Some sort of a relationship is there not for a common goal. It is a personal relationship. Maybe in Sri Lanka it happens, because it is schools. Because I mean, the school, the alma mater, matters a lot in Sri Lanka. That is what we have, so much of big matches and all those things. Maybe that we are coming, from the same village, same area, Api Nuwara, Api Dakuna, Api Lankavi. We are from Kurunegala. You look, because of your region, you can, have a group. Because, you go, to the same club, or you'd have played the same sports. Or, in the evening, right? Or, even when you're in school or college, or, when you're working, there's a smokers club. So they will have lunch, in various places, and they'll go and, stand in some place and have a smoke. And there is a small informal group there. Those informal groups may not have anything to achieve in common. But these things also become one of the strongest groups in the organizations. Right? These for informal groups also, right? Informal groups also can be used in much better way in organizations sometimes. Okay, so in any organization, in any setup, right? Even in the school, right? Even among you, right? In a class, you'll have a formal setup, you'll have informal setup. Your group, your team, right? Now, whatever in this particular class, you are a formal group because you have an objective to pass the examination. So you work as a team. But you may have somebody else outside this particular class, junior, senior, whoever it is, you have studied together in a college. You're coming from the same, sometimes all of you all will travel together. If you're coming from Maunal, if you're coming from Gampal, if you're coming from Peradani, you all travel together. It's the informal group. So you should very clearly understand the difference in between the formal and informal groups. Formal groups are with a very common organizational objectives. Based on that, the line of authority, communication, and structure is defined. Informal groups doesn't have that. It is a relationship based on so many other factors. It doesn't have a common goal generally. Okay, so whether we like it or not, that is what organizations are. Because these are social structures, people structures. Okay. Then I'll talk to you about two important. What is organizational goals? Goals are defined as a target or purpose that a person imagines or plans to accomplish or to reach in future. These are goals. Another 5 years time, another 10 years time, another 15 years time, this is what I want to achieve. That is a goal. Those are the things driving force behind you. Now say when you are set up your idea, I want to get my degree in 2 years time. You come to class, you are sitting in this online class and learning, putting in your efforts to achieve that goal. If you don't have that, if you don't have that particular idea, you don't come and sit. You don't travel to the class, you don't do your assessments and assignments and so. Objectives are to aim or target which you want to achieve within limited period is known as an objective. Now a goal you can achieve in a longer time, right? But objective in a limited period of time. Right now there is no long objectives are what you achieve in a shorter period of time. They are the milestones that help you to reach your goal. They are the milestones helps you to reach your goal. Okay, because when you achieve your objectives, short-term objectives only, you'll achieve your long-term goal. You have to pass your assessments. You have to pass your subjects to get your degree. You have to achieve your monthly targets to achieve your annual target. If you want to win a particular tournament, you have to win each and every matches. So objectives are in a short term. It has to achieved within a period of no time related to that no particular goal. Okay, so these are the goals and objectives. Then we can talk about different kind of goals. There are strategic goals, there are operational goals, those are tactical goals. The strategic goals are set by the top management. They are the people who set the strategic goals. Why do they set that? Is the direction for the organization. Tactical goals are the middle managers, people in the middle. They are that those things will focus on actions necessary to achieve the goals. They look at, right, this is our strategy based on this is what we have to do to achieve goals and objectives. Tactical. Operation goals are day to day, very lower level, Hamadama, very shorter time, what is going to happen. Now, say the organization has said we are going to achieve 100 million turnover through these products with these profit margins. Strategic goal. The middle level allocate people, machinery, time, storage facility, selling, marketing campaigns, everything. Those are the tactical goals they set. I'm going to achieve this every month. So much of spending so much of money, achieving so much of targets and things like that. That is very much of a tactical goal, middle level. The low level in the people managers, what they do is, what do you do every day? If you have to achieve this target, how much we have to manufacture every day? How much we have to keep it in the stores? How much we have to sell? How much money we have to spend in advertising and discounts and promotions on a daily basis? So when we talk about goals, it can be strategic goals, tactical goals, and operational goals. Goals are in the long term, right? No, generally goals are in the long term. Objectives are to be achieved within a specific period of time to achieve those goals. Okay, guys. So go through all the. I have already put. I want you all to go through Moodle because the entire presentation is in the Moodle, and we'll have another class on 7th, right? Now, that is day after tomorrow, because I have finished only half of this. Once we finish in these two classes, the first two classes, we'll have the assessment. We are going to have the assessment most probably on next Friday. I'll tell you before that. I will send you a formative assessment of it has to be done. So this will be ready. I will send you this particular thing tomorrow. This you have already this presentation in your Moodle. I would like you all to go through and get ready for the next class, which will be on 9 to 10 o'clock or 9 to 9:40 on 7th. Right? I will send a mail also. Now you can read what is the difference in between objective and goals. Right? Now, when we talk about objectives has to be put in framework of SMART. What do you mean by SMART is SMART. S stands for specific. When you set your objective, it has to be very specific. M means measurable. Whatever you work in, you should be in a position to measure that. A is achievable. R is realistic. And T is time bound. So when you're putting a particular objective, this is what we call the objective has to be a SMART objective. Whether it is in organizational sense, whether it is in your personal life, it is the same. Now, I very clearly said about goals. Goals can be so many goals. There can be consumer goals. There can be product goals. There can be operational goals. There can be secondary goals also. Now, say consumer goals are whether what are the things you are going to, which group you are going to cater. Whether You're going to cater the businesses, or you're going to cater in a different type of consumers, fashion consumers, or food consumers, or whichever. So consumer goals, focused on the consumer, focused on product. What are the products you are going to sell? You are going to selling in only handbags. You are going to sell only in shoes. You are going to sell handbags and shoes. Those are product goals, objectives. Operational goals are how you are going to manufacture, eliminate waste, reduce cost, keep in only this much of inventory. Those are operational goals. Secondary goals are whether not directly related to your business, but it supports that business. Where are you going to buy your raw materials? Whether you can buy from X, Y, Z, from foreign country, imports, or locals. Where are you going to hire your people from the local vicinity, or you're going to hire from all over Sri Lanka? All those are secondary inputs. Now, when you look at certain things, you must understand what is general knowledge, and I have included certain things on general knowledge. Right? Go through it. Then you look at organization policies and procedures. You can't achieve everything, in every way what you want. There are policies. Organization use policies and procedures to outline the rules and the course of action to deal with problem. The same, right? You say policies are general statements. Now, like you say, we have a gender equality, a policy. So we don't look at whether it is for this job we are going to hire a male or female. That is not our concern. Anybody who is fit enough will be hired. That is our policy. We have a health and safety policy. Right now, that means everybody has to follow a particular health and safety procedures. If there is a problem, if there is a question mark about healthy of the safety of a person in the factory or in the field or in the office, that particular activity will not be done. It's a policy. We hire only local graduates. Policy. We hire 50-50. We give 50% to the local graduates. We hire 50% foreign graduates. Policy. We hire people with only these qualifications. Policy. We sell our goods only for cash. Policy. We do business only with this type of people. Policy. So you look at any business having a certain policies and principles when it comes to their products, when it comes to their processes, when they are coming to hiring people, buying their raw materials. Some companies, multinational companies have. We will not buy any raw material which cannot guarantee their origin or the quality. So recycled materials we don't use. We are environmental concern company policy. We don't release our waste material to the environment. We recycle it and sell. Policies. So companies, to achieve their goals and objectives does not mean that they do anything and everything. They work within certain conditions. These conditions are known as policies and procedures. There are plenty of examples. You can look at it. That is how the organizations are. That is what your organization is about. So, what I said is the organization is a commercial, the social unit. It works in a particular environment, internal and external environment. The external environment can be divided into micro and macro, or task and general. And it has goals, it has objectives, and it has policies. And the objectives are smart, goals are long term. These are the things today's lesson what you would have done. And just go through it and clearly understand. Next week when you start doing the assessment, these learnings will come in very handy. The first assessment is going to be based on the first two lessons you are going to learn. This is your first lesson, and day after we'll do the second lesson. So you will be prepared, ready, for the first assessment. Okay, guys. Anything you want to know? Anything you want to say? Please send me. I will give you my telephone number and mail address to you now.